Today I got a little bit more work done. Put this on so I can put the headlight bucket on and clean up the wiring harness and start putting that on. And I put the coil, horn, ignition, exhaust pipe, and rear inner fender, and this just snaps in there and there. So we're moving along. I'm gonna start putting the exhaust on next and the rear suspension. I ordered new shock absorbers, so when they come I'll put the rear suspension together, but in the meantime I can get the exhaust on here. Installed the swing arm here, so that was pretty easy. It's just these little grease caps on each end of the pivot and the bolt, and I put a smear of grease on the bolt and in the bushing in there. And on this side it's just a nut that you tighten down, and I put the kickstand on too. And I just reshot that with some high heat paint that's been sitting in my dad's basement for probably 25 years. And it had a little surface rust on it, so I sanded it down and reshot it with a high temperature black. Well, that's pretty dried up now. It's been a couple of days, so I'm going to throw that on. It looks pretty darn good. I got to take the garden stuff off the original muffler for it, but I can put this on still, so let's get to work here. Forgot to paint the little clamp for this is the old original, the muffler I took off. You can see it was starting to rot out there too. So anyway, let me get this blasted and painted out, and I'll probably let it dry before I put the exhaust on. Cleaned up pretty darn nice. Next I'm going to pop this off because I'm going to buff this, and I'm going to repaint that little heat shield between the muffler and this. This little ratcheting screwdriver works really good to break tight screws loose without stripping the screw. This screw's a little buggered up, so I think I'm going to see if one of the other mufflers has a better screw for there. The other screws are fine. That's the heat shield. I'm going to give it a bead blasting and painting and buff this out. On this heat shield there's little fiber washers between this and the muffler, and between this and this. So these are the ones that went between this and the muffler, and these kind of like, you can see how they're beveled, were between the heat shield and this, and then there's little beveled washers in these holes too with the little screws. So I just don't want to lose those and keep them all so I can put it back together. But anyway, let's get this painted up. I push the packing down in that part of the muffler until it bottoms against that, and that fits over that tapered part of the pipe right there, and then this will go here, and I got to polish the bolts for there and there, which go here and here. And as soon as the paint's dry on that little clamp, I'll throw the muffler on. On this clamp, there's little ears on it. They need to stick over like just a little bit on there, and that holds things in place. So the clamp looks like it goes right about there, and so get this thing pushed on and bolted on. Oops, that's got to go on the other side of those brackets. This exhaust was kind of a bite to get off too. Alright, those are pretty lined up. And I'm going to tighten all this down before I tighten it to the pipe. Alright, then I just tighten the little clamp up here and we're done with the, well, I gotta put the thing on there. I think I might get a little ratchet with the one of these metric, this is a hex and it's a 6mm. So the screws didn't fall out, you know, so I can put this on. I put those fiber washers on here, then I'll put the heat shield on there, and then I'll put these fiber ones on the back side of the heat shield that go here, and that'll be on. This is all, you know, just kind of held together like that so it doesn't fall apart. Now I can bolt it up here. And what I might do is I might put a drop of oil on each one of these just for future or some no-sees or something. I had two other exhausts and none of them have this, whoops, have this heat shield to rob a screw out of, so I'll eventually find a screw somewhere for it to replace that buggered up one. And I'll tighten that with my ratcheting screwdriver and get it, wipe off the handprints, and it should look pretty darn nice. I'm going to use the larger Phillips bit on this. Here we go. Looking more and more like a motorcycle every day. Starting to look nice. I cleaned up the wiring harness with some lacquer thinner on a rag, and I didn't disturb the part number tag. And what I want to do, a lot of people probably think I'm crazy when I tell them this is the best way to clean connectors, but I get like snow bowl toilet bowl cleaner or some type of acidic toilet bowl cleaner, and you can see the corrosion on the spades in there. So I'll just take like a paint cap or something, small plastic container, and fill it up with some toilet bowl cleaner, and I'll show how I do this. I'll do this in the next video. And you dip it down in, and you'll see it foaming out of here. And then after it, you know, you take it out and it looks pretty clean. Squirt it off with some hot water or warm water really good to get all the toilet bowl cleaner out, and blow it out with some compressed air. Then I just spray a little WD-40 in it, wipe it off, and then before I connect them up, I'll put some dielectric grease in it. These type of, you know, something like this doesn't have any computers or anything, so if the dielectric grease transfers a little current from spade to spade, it won't really matter. These are you know, 12 or 6 volts all the way. You know, some sensors on cars, they run on millivolts, and if you have a little bit of something taking current from one to another, you know, you can trip a code light or a bad ground. A lot of people, you know, they get their codes and this sensor or that sensor is bad. The first thing they do is change the sensor, when a lot of times it's just a bad ground somewhere. And I reinstalled these for to hold the snout on the spark arrestor. And hit the like button if you enjoyed my video. If you enjoy my channel, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.